Chicago just has, it feels like they have this kind of magic fairy dust right now that when it comes to fourth quarter comebacks, somehow, some way, Caleb can do it.
They figured it out. And last year, they got used to losing. You remember last year, they started off okay. I think they were like 2-3, 3-2. And then they had that loss, that devastating loss to the Commanders, the Hail Mary at the end of the game. And they went on like a 9 or 10 game losing streak. They never figured it out. Well, this year was a little bit different. They started off rough. They had a tough loss to Minnesota early, and then they got smashed by Detroit. But since then, they said, okay, we're going to figure out how to win. And that's exactly what they've been able to do. They learned how to win now.
Well, it's the middle of November. Another coach has been fired. The Bills follow up a win over KC with a dud in Miami. Carolina went into Green Bay and won, then looked hopeless against the Saints. The Pats and Broncos keep winning. The Bears pull out another one. It's week 11. It's Flutie versus Stegall, your weekly picks and analysis show in the National Football League. That's Doug Flutie. That is Milt Stegall. Every week the fellas drop their picks, and overall they are crushing it against the spread. We talk NFL storylines on this show while the guys also share their locker room stories. Milt, let's start with you. You live in Atlanta, but man, maybe you want to relocate to Vegas. 3-0 with your picks this week. You not only took the 2.5-point Eagles to win outright on Monday night, they paid plus 115 on the money line. You nailed that. Milt is now 19-8 on the season. Take a bow, Mr. Stegall.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about myself. I'm not going to get overconfident because I know this Doug Flutie. I know he's never down and out. He knows how to come back. So I'm going to stay humble for now. But if I pull this one out, baby, it's going to be ugly at the end. But I'm excited about what I've been able to accomplish so far.
Milt is 19-8 on the season. Doug, 15-12, but there's lots of football left to go.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I thought I had the Colts last week. They played great football the entire game, but just wasted some points, didn't get them, and took that thing to. They were fortunate to go to overtime. So we got a ways to go. I'm going to try to chip away at it a little bit. Getting nervous about the Bills. They were my go-to for quite a while, and getting a little nervous about a few things. But Milt's looking good and strong and just killing it. Absolutely killing it, Milt.
Yeah, he certainly is. I'm your host, Arash.
Go long, Milt. I'll just throw it up. Go long.
And
keep throwing the ball his way.
85 is going to bring it in. We thank all of you for making Flutie versus Stegall one of North America's fastest growing podcasts. Please like and subscribe. You can find us on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. And as always, we are powered by BODOG. Let's get to the picks. All right, Doug, I'm going to say the quiet part out loud. You liked Buffalo at the beginning of this, but the last minute you had to change. You're not buying into your Bills. We'll get to that in a minute.
What?
But both of you like the Ravens as an 8.5-point favorite on the road to go into Cleveland and cover against a division opponent. Doug, let's start with you. With Lamar back, Baltimore's starting to really look the part.
Yeah, they are, and they're legit. It's more about the Browns than the Ravens, though. It really is. It's more about picking against the Browns. They're a mess. They can't score points. They lose to the Jets. It just it's more about that and seeing the Ravens with an opportunity ahead of them right now that they can make a run in this division.
Yep.
So I switched over to what I thought was a guarantee and go with the Ravens.
Yeah, the Ravens are definitely excited to have two-time MVP Lamar Jackson back. He seems to be back to where he was in previous years. But even more important than that, the defense is playing better. You remember early on, they were giving up like 32, 33 points a game. With this 3-game winning streak, 15 points a game. And if you can do that, they can get back to being a Super Bowl contender. I'm definitely think they're going to win their division. You got Cleveland, Cincinnati, and even Pittsburgh. They're struggling right now. So Baltimore just continue being consistent. That defense is playing better. Lamar Jackson is back. They'll definitely cover this week, and I definitely think they'll win their division also.
Yeah, they forced 2 J.J. McCarthy interceptions. It could have been a third, but the ball just kind of skidded off the turf. And the Ravens just make you pay with mistakes. There was a kickoff return, fumble, Miles Price made, put the ball on the turf, boom. They take advantage. They get the ball inside the 30. They go to work. Baltimore can be lethal in that way. Milt, you like the Bears to go into Minnesota as a 3-point dog, not only to cover, but to win outright. That pays plus 140 on BODOG. I don't understand how Minnesota's the favorite here. The Vikes just seem to be helter-skelter. They can't be consistent. They took 8 false start penalties at home with no crowd noise on Sunday. And Chicago just has – it feels like they have this kind of magic fairy dust right now that when it comes to fourth quarter comebacks, somehow, some way, Caleb can do it.
They figured it out. And last year, they got used to losing. You remember last year, they started off okay. I think they were like 2-3, 3-2. And then they had that loss, that devastating loss to the Commanders, the Hail Mary at the end of the game. And they went on like a 9 or 10 game losing streak. They never figured it out. Well, this year was a little bit different. They started off rough. They had a tough loss to Minnesota early, and then they got smashed by Detroit. But since then, they said, okay, we're going to figure out how to win. And that's exactly what they've been able to do. They learned how to win now. Caleb Williams is morphing into that franchise number 1 pick that they thought he would be. He's finding ways to win. It's not always pretty. He's using his legs. The last 2 games, he's had over 50 yards rushing in both games. And when you have a quarterback who has over 50 yards rushing, that's devastating to opposing defense. So this team has figured out how to win instead of last year when they were figuring out different ways to lose.
They have won 6 of 7. The Bears have. The majority in comeback fashion. I mean, Doug, I don't know is this sustainable? Is that the right way of going about it? But they beat the Raiders by 1, the Commanders by 1, that crazy finish at Cincinnati where they're down, they're on the ropes with 30 seconds to go. Shoot, the Giants led by a couple of scores in the fourth quarter, and Caleb and company did it. You know all about the magic a quarterback can bring. Can this really continue this way with Caleb there?
It can, but when you look at the list of teams they beat, they're not the most impressive team in the NFL. When you just run those off and those comeback wins. So they're not elite.
That's true.
Okay, they're not elite. They're finding ways to win. And Caleb, what I've seen in him is in the fourth quarter, and I say it a lot of times, you go to just play, like even watching the Monday night game. In the fourth quarter, the quarterbacks just started playing football. Instead of trying to be perfect, they go through the whole game and score maybe 3 points. They couple of touchdowns in the fourth quarter. That's the way you're trying to be perfect for 3 quarters. The game's close. It's like, okay, now I got to get a first down. What do I have to do? I scramble, I run, I throw the ball on the move, I shovel the ball, I do whatever it takes. And you go for it on 4th down occasionally, and you do whatever it takes. And that's the mode he gets into in the fourth quarter, and he relaxes and he just plays football. And I see that with a lot of quarterbacks that you're trying to be picture perfect for 3 quarters, execute the offense. We mix the run and the pass. On that last drive of the game, you're just playing football. You're back, you do whatever it takes to try to move the chains, and then the athleticism takes over and you make plays. And that's what he's doing in the fourth quarter.
Week 11 of Flutie versus Stegall, your weekly NFL picks and analysis show. As always, we are powered by BODOG. So both Milt and Doug like Baltimore to cover at Cleveland. Milt likes the Bears to cover and upset the Vikings as a 3-point dog. I don't know what to make of San Francisco right now. Injuries all over the place, yet they're either winning or they're staying in the fight. Even when they fell behind against the Rams, they were right there late in the game. They're 6-4. They're a 2.5-point favorite against Arizona. It doesn't seem like, it doesn't matter if it's Kyler Murray. It doesn't matter if it's Jacoby Brissett. The Cardinals just can't get out of their own way. And Doug, you like the 49ers to cover by a field goal this week. Yeah,
they're just a more consistent football team. And I still love what Mac Jones has been doing at quarterback. The Cards, I think, are a mess. I think I've seen Jacoby Brissett back when he was the Patriots. He's not explosive. He's not a game changer. Everybody got excited 2 weeks ago with a win. And it's like, oh, Kyler Murray, let's keep Kyler on the bench and then let it be his job. Let him be the starter. I just think he's so limited. I think he's very limited. I don't think he goes downfield with the ball well. I just, again, when I'm making my picks, it's more about who I think is going to lose a game or who is going to win a game. And that's what I see in the cards. I think San Francisco is very well coached. I think that they're borderline elite in the NFL, right? They've got to figure some things out. They got to stay healthy, but they play good football. And Mac Jones has had a resurgence out there in San Francisco.
So that philosophy, that Doug Flutie philosophy of bet against the team you think's going to lose, not the team you think's going to win, makes a ton of sense when you're betting against the Las Vegas Raiders this week, Doug.
Yeah, again, against the Raiders. You know my attitude about the Cowboys, Milt.
Milt, he likes Dallas minus 3.5 over anybody coming off the bye.
Cowboys have no defense. I do like Dak at QB. But it's, again, if I could have picked against the Jets are playing Thursday night. I couldn't pick against them this week. That's playing the Jets. The Jets are playing, and that's the way I'm going. And that's the story, and I'm sticking to it. Milt jumped off the Raiders bandwagon a few weeks back.
I did.
Not their tail wax, but and that's my approach. The Cowboys can be explosive. They really can.
They can score points.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Milt, we know your relationship with the Cincinnati Bengals and how you feel they're hopeless. I still haven't figured what you think of your hometown Falcons, who are favored by 3.5 against a Carolina team that is very difficult to figure out.
Right.
But you like Atlanta to cover.
Yep. Atlanta will cover. And I know the first time they played, Carolina, as I like to say, mollywopped them. But I just saw this Carolina team who had a great opportunity this past week. The Bucs lost. They had a great opportunity to move into within one game of the Bucs in the conference, and they lose to, no disrespect to Tyler Shook. Is that his name? Tyler Shook.
His name. Tyler
Shook is the first rookie quarterback for New Orleans to win a game since 1981, and that's who you lose to. So that just lost some hope. With those Carolina Panthers. They had a great opportunity to make some ground, and I think they've just deflated. They're going to go into Atlanta, and I think Atlanta's going to put it on them. Penix is going to maybe have a great game, and that Atlanta defense will recover from what we saw last week. So Atlanta will cover it and win this one with no problem, in my opinion.
So of our 6 picks this week, Doug likes 3 favorites. Baltimore by 8.5 at Cleveland, the 49ers to cover 2.5, and Dallas off the bye to cover 3.5 against the Raiders. Milt likes a couple of favorites, Baltimore as well, Atlanta over Carolina. He also likes the Bears as the upset pick, not only as a 3-point dog, but paying plus 140 money line. All right, so Indianapolis, guys, goes overseas, beats Atlanta in Berlin. You kind of wondered how the Colts would respond after the loss to the Steelers. But then Indy trailed. They trailed late in the third quarter. And they're down 3 with $1:26 to go. They're facing 3rd and 21. Then Daniel Jones goes off on a 19-yard run. Then on 4th and 2, connects with Ty Warren on the first down. Next thing you know, it's field goal, it's OT, and Jonathan Taylor walks it off. And I'm saying Colts do it again. They're 8-2. Daniel Jones is balling. And Doug and Milt say to me, no, not so fast. You see some warning signs even with that 8-2 record with the Colts, guys.
Hold on, Doug. Before you dissect them, I got some new nicknames for Indiana Jones. It's Indecision Jones, and Daniel Dimes is now Daniel Deck. So I just wanted to throw those 2 out there. So go ahead, Doug.
Yeah, it was a heck of a day for Jonathan Taylor. They ran the football. Indy did everything they wanted off it, but talk about the conversion, though. He ran for 19, had 2 yards. The ball that he completed on the 4th down was he floated it over. I think it was tight end, caught the ball.
Ty Warren, yeah.
Blanket coverage. That was a very fortunate conversion.
Yep.
But Indy did everything right on offense the whole day and should have scored a lot more points and just gave away points. The point I have about Daniel Jones is this. He does not handle pressure well. He does it. He's very indecisive in pulling that trigger he gets a man in his face. Something I noticed with Phillip Rivers first week of training camp, when Phillip came as a rookie, he didn't know the pass protection. He's unsure of whether he's hot or not. But when a guy came free in his face, he got rid of the ball. It was out of his hand. Maybe it was a quick receiver. He got the ball too. Maybe he threw it over his head out of bounds. Maybe he threw it in the ground. The ball was out of his hand, gone. Really instinctive play. When Daniel Jones tries to do something like that, it's a slow process. And twice he got hit. The ball's free. It's a fumble. He doesn't make that. He doesn't have that ability to get the ball out of his hand now when he has to. And so when he gets pressured, it turns into some real shaky potential turnover situations. And he doesn't. When you get blitz, when you get man coverage, you pick your receiver, you pick your matchup, you stay with it whether he's open or not, and you put that ball in a position where your guy has a chance for it, and the ball's out. Be indecisive, bang. He's my guy, the ball's out, and you don't take sacks that way.
If I'm opposing defensive coordinator going against the Colts, Jonathan Taylor's not going to beat me. It's going to have to be Daniel Jones. Jonathan Taylor, the MVP, in my opinion, maybe, is not going to beat me because once he gets going, you somewhat forget who the quarterback is because he's just making plays in every way possible. So take him out of the game. Stack the box. Say, Daniel Jones, you got to show us you can beat us. Show us that you can make those decisive decisions. Show us that you can read defenses. Show us, your team is 8-2 and you started off well, but you're starting to slip a little bit. So I'm going to force him to beat us. I'm not going to allow JT, Jonathan Taylor, to continue rushing for 200, 150 yards a game, 2 or 3 touchdowns. I'm not going to allow that to happen. I'm an opposing team defensive coordinator.
240 yards, and it was, like a knife through butter. They were running the football at will, which should allow Daniel Jones, and it allows him to do the play action game and throw the ball and do all the things that should be easy for a quarterback to do. And yet they were very, very fortunate to win the game.
I want to get to Jonathan Taylor in a moment, but both of you used the term indecisive with Jones. The Colts have a bye week this week. You can get into the film room. You can do a little bit of work, all those kinds of things. But what are the things with 7 games left in this regular season that you can work on, that you can try and instill in a quarterback, and everything you're talking about in the face of pressure, Doug?
Yeah, I think you extend your blitz periods in practice. There's usually a blitz period in every practice where the opposing teams, you run their blitzes and you know where you're going with the ball and you're getting it out. I think you do that all day, every day. I think you put people in his face and say, hey, make a decision. He doesn't, it's like you have this vision of seeing Patrick Mahomes or even Aaron Rodgers, the drifting away from a rusher and throwing off bounds, falling away and still putting the ball up down the field that he doesn't do. He doesn't do well. And he needs to get a feel for having that guy in his face quick. It's almost like a quick release problem, I think, that he has. I'm not trying to badger him either. I like Daniel Jones. I really do. This is the one area that teams are going to see as a weakness and get after.
And what does that do for an overall offense, Milt? Like, as a receiver, if you know this is the situation, what can that do overall to a team?
Well, it comes to the point now where you're overthinking things. And if you're thinking and not reacting in football, that's when you're going to get busted in the mouth. You're going to have problems. So as Doug mentioned, the practice, those reps in practice where you're making those decisive decisions, where the receivers are when they're running their routes, they know when they come out, the ball is coming, or if it's a blitz, they know the blitz pickup is there and the quick throw is coming. So they just have to come with reps. You have to keep repping, as you mentioned, they're in the bye week. So they have to get as many reps, even if it's some off scripted outside of practice. They got to get as many reps as they can because they're in a good position right now, but they want to continue being in that good position.
Going back, one of the things that we all as quarterbacks, your first year, 2 years, you're learning pass protections and when you're hot and when you're not. What's picked up, what isn't. When is there a free rusher? I don't know that the quarterbacks today know that for sure in their head anymore. Damn. I think they're so used to having smoke screens and RPO games and things like that, that when it's almost like they're surprised that there's a free rusher and they don't have a plan in their head. They're reacting to it and have to figure out a plan. I don't know that for a fact, but it seems like in our generation, it was when we knew our protection like the back of our hand, and this is where the free rush is going to be, and this is the hot side and all that. And it's almost like a weird, they're just feeling it out. And the Patrick Mahomes of the world get away with it because they can drift away from stuff and throw the ball off balance and still put it 20 yards down the field.
The Colts, by the way, a league high point differential of plus 115. That's more than four division leaders combined so far this season. In large part, the guys talked about it because of Jonathan Taylor having a year for the ages. What a show in Berlin. 244, 3 touchdowns. Milt, he's your pick for NFL MVP.
He's my MVP. He's that guy. And I know that MVP is basically a quarterback award. I mean, the last 12 years, I think the last running back was Adrian Peterson in 2012, but it's time for a change. Jonathan Taylor is leading the league in points, and the last running or non-kicker to do that was who? LaDainian Tomlinson back in 2006, and he won the MVP. So if Jonathan Taylor, if he leads the league, regardless of what Stafford or Drake May, what quarterbacks do, if he leads the league in scoring, if he's not the MVP, Doug, there's going to be some problems. You're going to hear about it. So, in my opinion, he's the MVP right now.
Yeah, if this continues and he goes the way he's going, yes. Yeah, I mean, he has been from day one, from the very first week, and he's catching the ball out of the backfield too. He's making plays, catching the ball, and I agree with you on his impact. My MVP is Matthew Stafford right now, just because of the way he's
I knew it.
in the elite way he's played. I mean, 8 touchdown passes in the last 2 weeks, and it's the way he's doing it. It just looks effortless. Yeah. We watched Josh Allen MVP season last year. Josh was moving around, making play, running with the ball, doing it. He was being Superman. Matthew Stafford's doing it the old style quarterback, like a Tom Brady would, where he's picking them apart. He actually had one on the move where he's drifting to his right through the touchdown in the back of the end zone coming across. So that was an extended play. No look pass. He's looking the guy off with his eyes. He had a little throwback, little sneak back out the back door, and he kept his eyes over here as long as he could and just gave him one of these, point guard looking people off. He's playing the game with ease. He doesn't miss a shot. He's like, he's putting the ball where he wants to put it. And it's fun to watch. It's just fun to watch right now.
Doug, the way you're describing him, it's almost like it's Magic Johnson, doing it at age 37. How about this one? The first quarterback in league history to have at least 4 touchdowns and no picks in 3 straight games. It's 3 straight games. Yeah. I was thinking that's 12 touchdown passes in 3.
That's crazy.
12 touchdown passes and
no picks.
I'm like king of the picks. I could throw picks. I can out throw more picks. I could do that. 12 touchdown passes, 3 weeks with no picks. It's
impressive. It's
impressive, but also offensive coordinator. I always said this: your offensive coordinator has to give you one layup touchdown pass by game plan. Whether it's a sneak play out the back door, something like that, and then you throw one really good touchdown pass, and then anything after that's a bonus. And he's got 4 games.
So Milt's MVP pick, Jonathan Taylor, is paying plus 500 on BODOG. Doug's Matthew Stafford is plus 300. The betting favorite right now to win NFL MVP, Drake May. After New England started the year 1-2, they've won 7 straight. May's paying plus 275 for MVP on BODOG. A 4-time MVP doesn't look like it at all anymore. And Aaron Rodgers admitted after Sunday night, this was his quote: "I didn't play very good at all." Doug, there were the 2 picks. It didn't really have energy in that Pittsburgh offense. They couldn't get a play going. It was 3-and-outs galore. At the age of 41, coming off the Achilles a couple of years ago, the struggles last season with the Jets, you really start to begin to wonder, don't you?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I played till I was 43. I've said it before in our podcast that I had these little stretches where I played a 5-game window, 6-game window, 4-game, that type of stuff. When you're playing a whole season, it stacks up. You get sore and achy by week 2 or 3, and you don't get healthy until the year's over. That's the way it is. His mobility, Aaron Rodgers, and I mentioned it earlier, does a great job of staying on the move, drifting away and still making throws. He's always been an athletic quarterback that moves well, buying time, throwing off, fading away, all those things. And that becomes more and more difficult as you get older. And you could see it at, cold weather coming. All those things add up. And it's tougher to make the real athletic throw, the little snap of the wrist and the ball's out quick and the strong arm. The back of your neck gets tight. You get knots in your shoulder. You don't quite sling it around the way you did in training camp in the first few weeks of the season. And it wouldn't hurt. And I don't know when you do it. It wouldn't hurt at some point to give him an extra week off. Maybe you take a week off at some point and get healthy again, because it makes a world of difference.
I don't think he's going to do that, Doug. That would be nice for him, I'm sure. But sometimes he has a look on his face when this looks like he's saying, man, I should have just retired last year. Because it's almost like he mentally knows what to do, but he just can't get it done anymore. It also doesn't help that his receiving core is not the best. You got DK Metcalf, and beyond that, that's it. So that's not helping him out. So there's a lot that's going against Aaron Rodgers right now, and I would not be surprised if after they don't make the playoffs, because they will not make the playoffs. The Baltimore Ravens are going to be the only team who makes it out of that. He announces right away, that's it for me, because it doesn't look like he's having any fun. There's always frustration on his face, and it's just not a good way to go out, in my opinion.
I agree with that. It does not look like he's having fun. It doesn't. He's got that frustrated look all the time. When Tom Brady went to Tampa at the end of his career, he went there for a reason. And he got Gronk back in the mix, and he had Evans, Godwin, and had weapons. And you need that, especially as you're little. You need that. Get the ball out of it, get it in the weapons, and he doesn't have that.
Pittsburgh, by the way, a 5.5-point favorite amidst all this, home to Cincinnati this week. So let's go through the picks. Milt, by the way, 19-8 on the season. Doug's 15-12. Both of them like the Ravens to cover as an 8.5-point favorite at Cleveland. Milt likes Chicago as the dog to win outright in Minnesota, and for Atlanta to cover the 3.5 at home. Doug also likes Dallas as a 3.5-point favorite and San Francisco as a 2.5-point favorite this week. Again, Stegall's 19-8, Flutie's 15-12. It's catch-up time, Flutie.
I hear you. I'm going in the 2-minute. I'm getting the auto going, and we're going to just go nonstop and sling it around. We're not running the ball anymore.
Well, one quick thing. I know Doug said he got off the Buffalo bandwagon, but he has on his Buffalo T-shirt. He has on his Buffalo hat. His jersey's in the back. Before we got live on this, he's practicing jumping through tables. I mean, I know he's off the bandwagon, but it sure doesn't look like it, Doug.
No, I'm worried about him. I'm just worried about him. I'm trying to show the extra support. I'm telling you, right, I still believe they can beat Tampa Bay this week. I still believe that. Then I look.
Didn't you bet him? Why wasn't that one of your games?
Tampa should be favored in this game with all the injuries.
Okay.
All Buffalo has. I still think Josh can pull it out, but he needs some help. He really needs some help. We need some weapons. The defense, all the injuries, they're scaring me now. They're scaring me.
All right. I got you.
I did tape my ankles for this week because I knew I was going to have to jump off the bandwagon for a week, and I didn't want to sprain an ankle. So I taped up my ankles this week. I'll take the tape off next week.
I thought you taped up the ankles because they were going to play at corner or something. The way that defense is going.
They did sign a wide receiver trying to help some speed, but they could use a little help. They don't want a 106-year-old guy out there at corner.
I'll leave you with this: when you say the Buffalo Bills are scaring you, but my dream has finally come true. It's not the Bills that are scaring you; it's Milt Stegall that's scaring you. I'll finish it.
Well, hey, if you're scaring me that much, I'm going to sign you, bring you. I'll trade the farm to get you on my team.
Stegall talking the trash. Flutie's taking it. It's week 11 in the National Football League. We're powered by BODOG. We thank all of you for making us one of North America's fastest growing football podcasts. Arash Madani saying so long. We'll see you next week.
Go Bills.